What up, everybody? Season 4 Power Book 2 Ghost started off with Davis Maclean being suspended for practicing law. Because of that, we saw Davis getting his hands dirtier on screen than we've seen him so far. First, when he helped Tariq land a new plug when he introduced him to one of his former clients, Zion, and told Tariq that he's going to be taking 20%. Davis even hooked up with Noma, who was one of the biggest drug traffickers in the world. And by the end of Season 4, we even saw Davis with his first on-screen kill, killing one of Noma's soldiers. But after Noma was killed by Kane, things started turning around for Davis when he used all the information that he had been collecting on Noma to give to the feds to prove that she was the Queenpin, as well as Drew and Diana's testimonies. By handing over the big fish to Blanca Rodriguez and Jenny Sullivan, Davis was able to get Jenny to withdraw her statement with the board and allowing Davis to get his law license reinstated at the conclusion of the series. Davis also used his connection to Noma to secure a meeting for Tariq with Chinadu at the end of the show, with Tariq becoming Chinadu's New York distributor. But when he was talking to Chinadu, he told him that he would have one of New York's finest attorneys overseeing the financials, keeping the money flowing, and keeping it clean. So Tariq has some big shoes that he's going to be stepping into, replacing Noma. Keeping in mind that Mecca, who worked for Noma, was called an international businessman on the news after he was killed. And Mecca had planes, luxury cars, a penthouse, and that's just what we knew about. While it was also said that Noma had a $1 billion empire. Her jet part business was so big that she needed government contracts so she'd be able to clean her money. Not to mention the houses and the royal treatment we saw her receiving in the last couple episodes. So Tariq now has a solid opportunity to build an empire just as big as Noma's, possibly even bigger. By the time the next spinoff starts, we might see Tariq living in a mansion, possibly something similar to Walter Flynn's mansion on Force. And like he said, he put Davis in position to keep the money clean and flowing. And like how Davis took a 20% cut earlier in Season 4, I'm guessing that's probably the cut he's still getting. So the next question is, what business ventures will Tariq vest his money into so he can build a legit empire like Noma and Mecca, and even Noma's ex-husband Francesco Lombardi, who was known as an oil tycoon and not a gangster? The first businesses to look at Tariq get into is the blueprint of his father, James St. Patrick. And the first legit business that Ghost ever established was the wash and folds. A really easy way to clean the money because people are paying cash, and a safe investment because, like Ghost said, people will always have dirty laundry. Notice that Ghost had no drama with the wash and folds. We don't know how many years Ghost and Tommy did the wash and folds. Probably around 10 years because that's how long Kanan had been in prison for. And Tommy even said that Ghost got the idea to start a business as a front to clean the money from Kanan because Kanan had a car wash before he got locked up. So it seemed like the wash and folds was a safe investment and a good way to clean the money. The problem was they couldn't really clean as much money as they needed to through the wash and folds. That's why they had to keep opening up more and more locations to clean the money. And that's ultimately why Tommy agreed to buy the club as a way to clean more money, not knowing it was actually Ghost's escape plan. And Tariq might have too much money from the jump to bother getting into the wash and folds, so we could possibly see him opening up nightclubs, keeping in mind that when he graduates Stansfield, he was already supposed to be inheriting his father's clubs, even though Truth was supposed to be going to Simon Stern. But Tariq even has enough money now working for Chinadu to buy back Truth from Stern if he wanted to. Even with that said, I do think that Tariq will still at least inherit 2 of Ghost's clubs, because when Ghost got Club Truth back from Madeline Stern, he also received 2 other clubs, and one of them being in Miami. And even though those 2 clubs weren't really talked about like that too much more after Season 2, I do think that Ghost still owned those other 2 clubs, and Tariq should receive them after he graduates Stansfield. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. So I can definitely see Tariq getting into the nightclub business in the next spinoff, because that was an element of OG power that a lot of people really enjoyed that has been missing in all of the spinoffs. But with that said, in Power Season 1, when Ghost was first back talking to Angela, she asked him what his plan was, because she knew that Ghost always had a plan. And he mentioned getting a club in Miami and possibly even in Vegas. And that was really the only time Vegas was ever hinted on the show, Obviously, in season 2, Ghost and Angela went to Miami, and Ghost ended up owning a club in Miami. But the only other time Vegas was mentioned on the show that I can think of was from Dre and his baby mama, who was supposed to be going to Vegas before Dre was arrested and ultimately killed. So after a couple year time jump in the next spinoff, after Tariq's had time to build up his funds, and after receiving whatever clubs he receives from his inheritance, the next move is obviously to make a move to Vegas to buy a casino, hotel, and entertainment business. Keeping in mind what Tariq said about himself at Ghost's funeral, that he's the manifestation of what his father could never be. I've also talked about before in other videos how Power is like a modern day Godfather movie, with Ghost being like Vito and Tariq being like Michael. And yes, I know there are differences, and Michael didn't kill his father, but the comparisons are obvious at the same time. And in Godfather 2, we saw Michael Corleone making the move to Nevada to buy a casino. Then there's also the fact that 50 Cent has just recently established residency in Vegas. And I know they haven't made any power-related announcements concerning this, but like I said in other videos, I don't expect there to be any announcements concerning spinoffs until after Force is finished. But it could definitely be a clue that a spinoff could be headed to Vegas next, because I think we're pretty much expecting Tariq to stay in New York because he's supposed to be the biggest drug dealer in the city. But like he was telling Chinadu, if his operation works the way he plans, he won't ever have to get involved in the day-to-day business. Like he said, nobody will even know where this product is coming from, and Chinadu would never even have to see his face again. So with a couple year time jump and the machine in operation and everything going good, and Tariq sees that everything's flowing without him, he might decide to make the move to Vegas to distance himself from the operation even more. And 50 Cent's Vegas residency could have been a clue right in front of our faces. Then there's also the fact that Tariq told Braden that he needed to find a new group to promote. After a couple year time jump, Braden might even found multiple groups that he's promoting, and they might even decide to start a record label or a music promotion group or something like that. Again, tying back to Vegas, and if Tariq bought a casino, they could also have their artists performing at the casino and setting up merch/distribution that way on an even larger scale. And maybe Tariq doesn't plan on moving to Vegas to distance himself from the business, but he plans on moving there to expand his drug empire right alongside his legit empire, possibly taking over the entire city of New York. And still not being satisfied, Tariq sets his eyes on becoming the biggest drug dealer in the entire country. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.